Yeah.
Evan Ingram, they went down, scored. Then Evan Ingram, they drove down, had that catch fumble.
Yeah.
That's not good, and things changed a little bit from there. But the quarterback they have playing, he's not good. The line is suspect, and the defense you could totally throw on. I think Fitzmagic does his if he plays. I think it's going to be Fitz this week.
Yeah, I hope it is.
They're going to give Tua another week of rest.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Fitzmagic, and I like Devontae Parker in this matchup.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if you have him on your move-in segment, but I have Devontae rated number 7 this week for wide receivers. If Tua sits and Fitz plays, he just looks. I mean, he's getting 2+ catches more when Fitzmagic's at the quarterback position. As far as their running backs, I mean, listen, if Gaskins is there, I got to imagine because of the fact that he's got more game tape, it's got to be Gaskins' backfield to lose. But maybe you're on edge. I will say this: I would still probably feel comfortable rolling out Gaskin or Salvan Ahmed against the against.
There's no K.
I fucking hate that name.
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
I'm
gonna call him Salvi. Salvi moving forward.
Salvi move forward.
But the Bengals. I mean, are you playing Gio? Listen, at the end of the day, I'm not playing Gio against this Dolphins defense. I actually have the Dolphins as my top-rated defense this week in my rankings. I was wrong a little bit about the Bengals wide receivers last week, although, I said if any wide receiver was going to be relevant, it was going to be Tyler Boyd. He still led the way with 6 catches. T. Higgins had 5, obviously, but T. Higgins had that tutty. So,
and that's only because of crap interference call.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone's got their opinions, Giant fans.
I mean, no, it was pass.
It could be a Cincinnati
It
Bengals
was pass interference, but we just handed it to him on a silver platter.
Right now, there's some Bengals fan out there fucking throwing something like, "What are you talking about? This bullshit."
If you don't realize what the Bengals have right now, you shouldn't even bother with football anymore.
Yeah, but you want to know who I do want to talk about? I want to talk about Drew Sample, the tight end. Can we just give this guy like the award that he's got the best name in the league? I mean, you could just go up to him and be like, "Hey, can I get a sample?" Or like if the NFL wants to drug test his ass, let me get a sample.
Let me get a sample.
So, So
here's a sample from Mr. Sample.
Exactly. I got a text that says Raiders should have the best defense this week. I would say this: that is not the case. Jets still can put points up on the board. If you ask me who's going to have the top defense, I still like Miami against a backup. They're basically a team of backups at this point. Mixon's out. You got Gio. Dolphins, they're averaging a turnover per game. They're the highest turnover team in the league, getting the most turnovers. I still think it's the Dolphins.
And they're young and hungry.
Oh, 100%.
That team is young and hungry. It has some ballers on the defensive side.
100%. I will answer his question, though, just as far as like where I have them. So the problem with the Raiders D, man, is like everyone every week at least has COVID. So I do have them number 6. So we'll see how that goes. But all right, let's move on. Getting a couple of texts. People can't respect them. Doing a show here. No, let's talk about the Saints and the Falcons. So last time this game was ugly. Matt Ryan got me under 6 points. I basically benched his ass. I kicked his ass to the curb. Said, Matt, listen, you can't be a part of Daddy's team. You know better than this. I don't care if you're white. Race has nothing to do with it. Get your shit together. So it's a revenge game for me. But we talked a little bit about it. Who do you like in this game?
I still like the Saints. I think this one's going to end up being closer this time, though. I mean, the Saints D is tough, but that doesn't happen to Matty Ice that often, does it? I mean, if you really think about it, how often does he put out that gun for you like that?
Yeah,
he's coming off a big win against Vegas. I see this game being closer. I don't think running the Taysom Hill train, allowing him to run all the time, is going to be a continuous success in this league.
It better not, or I'm shitting bricks in fantasy.
In his fantasy with Kamara, yeah. So I think this game will be closer, but I still like New Orleans for now.
Yeah. Listen, as far as the Falcons go, I'll say this: if you're a Falcons RB owner, whether it's Hill, Ito Smith, Todd Gurley, who looks like he practiced on a limited basis this week, I'm not playing any of them against that New Orleans defense. They are number 1 against the run. You're going to hear me talk a little bit about that in a little bit later on. But I'm not playing any of them. In the words of Will Ferrell, even if there's a fire. So as far as their wide receivers, listen, if Julio plays, you're playing Julio Jones. You're never going to be able to justify, unless you're that deep at wide receiver, why you wouldn't play him. Calvin Ridley, same thing. I'm rolling with him. Alvin Kamara, you got to play him. I mean, like, it sucks because it is possible that this dude will get you under 10 points.
Yeah.
But
you drafted him in top 5 of fantasy. I mean,
but would you rather
have to play.
Right. Would you rather put him on your bench and have this dude somehow go out there? Because he has the capability of lighting it up for 25 plus.
Yeah.
You know how pissed I'd be?
Yeah.
So you're playing him.
You're playing him. It's a tough decision. I mean, if you have that guy on your bench, if you're playing Kamara over Gibson, I would say, well, at this point, Gibson's you play Gibson.
Yeah. Well, he's more consistent.
For a fact that he's going to be a major part of their offense.
Yeah, he's getting a workload.
What's happening in New Orleans is a sad thing to see. I mean, and it's tough for fantasy because you just don't know.
They have two guys that probably go in fantasy drafts in the top 10 each year. Yeah. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. And here we are talking about them in week 13 that they're irrelevant.
Yeah.
I do think this. I think Thomas comes back. He had a good performance the first time against the Falcons. But the Falcons, I'm telling you now, and I'm going to take the Falcons in this matchup. And it's probably because I'm biased and they are my second favorite team to root for.
Exactly why you're taking them.
Exactly. But I will say this. They blitz more than any team in football since having Raheem Morris as their head coach. That defense has resurged under him. So with Taysom Hill at quarterback, if you can stop him, I think you just have to force him to throw. So we'll see. So I like the Falcons. Give me 3 all day, Vegas. And it's over 46. I don't know. What the hell is that number?
Did that? Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about, you're talking 23-23.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm thinking that game is 31-28 all day. So, all right, let's move on. So let's talk a little bit about the Jaguars against the Minnesota Vikings. So you got Kirky Cousins going against that suspect Jags D.
Justin Jefferson, big day, baby.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
Look at the spread, 10.
I know.
He's giving the Jaguars 10 points.
I know. And Jaguars just announced today that they're rolling out with Mike Glennon again at quarterback.
Again?
Yeah. So they must have saw something that they saw. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Something that they saw.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you look a lot like Mike Glennon.
I do?
Yeah. You both are bald.
I mean, hey, bald is the way.
That's it. Bald, yeah.
When there's nothing growing up top. You
bald's the new fro. I get it. But yeah, I'll tell you now, the only Jaguar player that I'm probably playing other than James Robinson is DJ Chark. I still think that the Vikings are vulnerable with that secondary. So I do like DJ Chark to have a good week this week. Should he be playing? Minnesota, listen, Dalvin Cook's going to have a day. You're going to talk about, I'm going to mention another Viking later on in our move in, move out segment. Dalvin Cook is my number, I think he's my number 2. I think I have Henry 1 for this week for running backs. Let's see. Yeah, no, I lied. So I actually have Dalvin number 1. I just think he's going to have a monstrous game against that Jags backfield or front. They have nobody. They're in rebuild mode. We all know it. And then I have Derrick Henry number 2 against Cleveland, which I'll talk a little bit about later. All right. So I guess I'm talking a little bit about Derrick Henry now because we're talking about the Browns and the Titans.
Titans.
Looks like Titans are -6 against the Brownies. What's your take here? Who do you like?
I think the Browns come back down to reality here a little bit, and they're going to lose this game. Jesus, King Henry.
Yeah.
What a beast. You know, talk about a guy you can rely on to just come through for you.
This is his time. He does it every year.
It is.
It's November, December, January. That guy just goes out and performs.
It's like he needs the first 8 weeks of the season to warm his body up.
Exactly.
Get ready to just mash people the rest of the way.
Well, he is from Alabama, so they are a little bit slower down there.
I mean, he's a large human being.
Yeah, but you know what pisses me off? That raccoon tail in the back of his head. I just want to cut that.
It looks like a fucking turd.
Yeah, I just want to cut that so much. But yeah, listen, I have D-Hen in a couple leagues this year where I couldn't get Dalvin, and
I've tried to trade for him in our league all year. and no bite.
No
matter
bite.
what I said,
Yeah.
I could send him the most unfair trade for myself for King Henry, and he still won't budge.
I could offer a guy in our league a hand job over the pants while he eats an ice cream, and I still couldn't get Derrick Henry from him.
Oh, I would have totally traded him for that.
Yeah. So I get it. I'll say this.
I love ice cream.
If Miles Sanders plays this week, it's going to impact Henry a little bit, but not as much as you'd think. I still like Derrick Henry. I like A.J. Brown a lot more than I liked him last week. Jarvis Landry, we got to talk about him for a second. Monster game. Looked like he finally showed back up.
It's because that guy touched his bum. Did you see that?
No, I missed that. But I'll say this. I mean, I would play him against the Titans. Malcolm Butler is slow, and people are not realizing that. People read names nowadays, and they just assume that these players are still good. And I'm telling you now, I think Jarvis Landry's startable. I think he could have a game against this Titans defense. They just don't scare me, but Titans scare me overall. I love Mike Vrabel, and I think that they're going to be I see them in the AFC Championship game again against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I just think that people are sleeping on them way too much.
I mean, if any of the teams have the capability to come out and beat the Steelers or beat the Ravens or whoever's going to be there, it's definitely Tennessee. They,
Agreed.
I mean, they have their hot and cold moments, but overall, they are a talented football team that they can do the one thing that can give you success in the NFL is they can run the fucking football.
100%. They got the best back in the league, in my opinion. A lot of people would say it's Delvin. So, all right, let's move on. So we got the Colts versus the Texans. So I'm gonna start here. Listen, I'm playing everybody and anybody against the Houston Texans. Phillip Rivers, if you're streaming the quarterback and you're in a deeper league, pick his ass up. Go play for him. Jonathan Taylor must start, in my opinion. I'm actually going to start him. I'm actually probably going to sit Miles Sanders just because he keeps breaking my heart and I just can't trust the bastard. I might even sit Kamara. I might be that guy. I have to win this week, and not only do I have to win, I got to win by 44.
Do you like now? Here's the thing, though, with Hines getting all the goal line work, the red zone work.
Yeah.
Do you like Taylor over Hines?
Yeah, because
Hines come off a big week, but also Taylor didn't play.
Right. So that's where I was going to rebuttal that. Taylor's well rested.
Yeah.
In the last game before he was out, he had 22 touches, his most all season.
Yeah.
I think you look at that. You say the guy's well rested. He's going up against a defense that gives well over five yards per carry. Very vulnerable. Defense gives up. I think they're at 14 touchdowns year to date for rushing running backs. My personal opinion, this is a Jonathan Taylor moment. He's a keeper for me in a couple of leagues. So to answer your question, I actually do like Taylor over Hines.
Okay. Thanks for the advice. I'm going to go with that in my fantasy lineups for this week.
You got it. And listen, I got to call this out because I get a lot of texts from people who are like, oh, your projections are off, or, oh, I started this player because of what you told them. You cannot predict fantasy football. Like, projections, what I do with my projections, I take the matchup, I identify the trends of who they're playing, how much yardage or something like that they're giving up. I take the stats, I enter it into a formula, the formula pops out the rankings. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger. It's fantasy football. Some of these fuckers are going to underperform.
Or they're going to or other ones are going to overperform. Anything can happen in fantasy football.
I haven't projected a quarterback over 30. Mahomes, D. Watson, over 30. Why are you mad at me? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to take me off your top 8 on MySpace? So.
Who? You still have MySpace?
Yeah, man, I'm still on it.
Is Tom still your number one friend?
Yeah, Tom is my only friend.
Must be nice.
Yeah. I was going to hop back over to MySpace, let Tom know I'm on Facebook if he wants to hit me up.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to ruin his Christmas. So, Rams, Cardinals. Betting line here is Cardinals are getting 3. You got to take the over in this game, 48.5. You got an explosive offense.
If the Rams can all of a sudden score some points again.
I know. Yeah, they're so Jekyll and Hyde.
They are. I mean, they look like world beaters one week, and then they go out and lay an egg like they did last week.
Yeah,
I I actually talked about that on our Facebook page with one of the guys. We talked about the San Fran matchup, and he had picked San Fran. So kudos to you, buddy. I think it was Russell. Is that Russell? Do you remember the guy's name?
Oh, Scott Russo.
Or Scott Russo.
Yeah,
sorry, not Russell. He picked that game. Totally.
Yeah.
Beat me on that one.
He must be a Niners fan.
He could be. I don't actually know what team he follows, but shout out if you're listening, buddy.